we have updates on the shoe thrower. The other shoe has dropped, as it were. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Let me tell you what actually happened. First of all, he showed up in court today and said, yes, I admit to aggression against a president. I love that law in Iraq. Any president will do. Doesn't have to be your president. If any president is walking by, President of Norway, you throw a shoe at him, you're in a lot of trouble, buddy. There's actually a law in Iraq saying that you cannot have an aggression against a president. It could be the Iraqi president or a foreign president. This, of course, is the shoe thrower is, of course, Muntadar al-Zaidi. And guess what Zaidi has, according to his brother? He's got broken ribs, a broken arm, and some internal bleeding. Gee, I wonder how that happened. When they asked the Iraqi authorities, they said, well, you know, we had to subdue him in the beginning, and, you know, in that ruckus, some things might have happened. We're not entirely sure when he suffered those injuries. Yeah. Maybe. I could see the broken ribs or something as they threw him to the ground, but the broken ribs and the broken arm and the internal bleeding? Now, that's according to his brother, so take it for what it's worth. The other part of this story is that this guy's become, of course, a sensation throughout the Arab world and throughout much of the world. That's actually going to be point number 2, but let me finish up point number 1 as to how much of a sensation he is. People are now offering money for the shoes. Because, of course, the shoes were confiscated, right? They're wondering if he got the shoes back. The answer is no. They are in the hands of the Iraqi authorities. I'm going to tell you right now, with the kind of money that's being offered, those shoes are going to disappear real quick out of the safe that the Iraqi police have them right now. Because already the former coach of the Iraqi national football team, that's the soccer team, Adnan Hamad, has offered $100,000 for the shoes thrown at George Bush. But he's not alone. Saudi citizen has apparently offered $10 million for the shoes. First of all, that's mental. But second of all, in some crazy way, that's awesome. You know, the reaction to this is almost more interesting than the event itself. The event itself is slightly comical, obviously strange, newsworthy, grabs your attention, etc. But look at the reaction, and look at what the reaction tells you. Now, I think if a shoe had been thrown at any other president, any other leader, there would have been one of two reactions. Let's say that it's a random leader, like Merkel of Germany. They throw a shoe at her. I think the reaction would have been by Americans, and most people throughout the world would have been curious. Like, that's puzzling. Why did they throw a shoe at Merkel? That doesn't seem to make much sense. Isn't that a funny footnote? And we all move on with our lives. The second possibility is anger. Like, let's say somebody threw a shoe at Obama. I would imagine that a lot of people would be really, really angry about that, saying, hey, what the hell is that guy doing? What a freak. What a strange thing to do, and Obama didn't deserve it. But you see, there is the interesting part of it, because that has not been the reaction to the shoe throwing against George W. Bush. The reaction has been ranging from he had it coming to, well, at least I understand that, to they should have thrown something worse. So, in the reaction that people are not overly angry at the guy, let alone the people celebrating, right? You get a sense of how much George Bush is disliked. Like, it's not a big news story to us that he's disliked in the Arab world and this guy is celebrated. The shoe thrower is celebrated in the Arab world. But throughout the whole world, and in this country, most people, even in the United States of America, are thinking, attaboy. It goes to show you, this man has earned the disdain of the whole world and of this country. It's to the point where somebody throws a shoe at him, and they think, and they don't feel sorry for the president as much as they feel sorry for the guy. Especially now that he's got possibly the broken arm, and the broken ribs, and the internal bleeding. And, by the way, he might face up to 15 years in prison. In an Iraqi prison, they say that's the maximum you can get for aggression against a president. I don't know if shoe throwing really counts, but apparently, according to the Iraqi courts, it does. But believe me, there's going to be a huge campaign to let al-Zaidi go. Now, the one guy who still doesn't understand what any of this is about is, of course, George W. Bush. Mr. Clueless Idiot. Get a load of what he had to say about the shoe throwing.
I've seen a lot of weird things during my presidency, and this may rank up there as one of the weirdest. I don't know what his beef is, but whatever it is, I'm sure, somebody will hear it.
No, you kidding me, man? You kidding me? You don't know what his beef is? You invaded the country, hundreds of thousands of people died, he himself got kidnapped and held for ransom, and then he got stopped by the U.S. authorities and held by them 2 different times. People he knows have died. Everybody in Iraq knows someone that's died that was innocent. Well, I'm not talking about the people you were fighting. I'm not talking about the people you brought into the country to fight, like Al-Qaeda, which you admitted yesterday. But hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians have died, and you don't know what his beef is? As always with Bush, you look at him and you think, is he really that dumb? Or is he playing dumb? Because how can anybody be that dumb and not know why the guy threw the shoe at him? He said, this is your goodbye kiss, you dog. I mean, how much clearer did he have to be? And he said, this is for all the innocent Iraqi women, children, and men who died. And he was yelling it. I mean, he was yelling it in Arabic. I assume somebody translated it for Bush. Is he playing dumb or is he actually this dumb? Unfortunately, my conclusion is he actually is that dumb. He doesn't understand what anybody's beef is. He doesn't understand all the mistakes and, frankly, crimes he's committed. Somebody please clue him in. It might be too little too late, but somebody let him know.